It's time for the Sports Report with your host, Mike Prince. For scores, updates, and highlights, Waller County area, the Sports Report is your one-stop spot. And now let us join in today's program. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is Friday, February the 7th, 2014, and welcome to this morning's edition of the Sports Report. I'm your host, Mike Prince, and we're going to get right down to the nitty-gritty. There's been a lot going on in the world of sports throughout Waller County and beyond, and man, it's just not going to stop. We were able to catch up with Coach Brad Wright with the new alignment that has been issued out by the UIL, and here are the comments and thoughts of Coach Brad Wright.
The Godfather has spoken that in the UIL, and we've been realigned, and it seemed like what was one tough has just gotten a little tougher district. How you sizing up where you ended up right now?
Well, you kind of said it just about right there. We were in a pretty tough district, and then all of a sudden they took out maybe the bottom end of our district and added some other folks in, and I've never played them but heard Stratford is legit. It's just it is what it is. You never know what those guys over there in Austin are going to do. You never know what those rubber bands, how they stretch them, or whatever the way they do it is. That's what I've heard they do. But it is what it is, and we're going to come up. We'll show up on Friday nights and play them in football, and we'll see. I like the direction our program's heading, and that's the main thing.
Yes, sir. Now Stratford was with Waller. I want to say back in 2009 season. It might have been. It was Stratford and.
When the spring that I first got here, we were actually, that was the end of that 2 years. So
right. So they just kind of brought them back.
Exactly.
And then, but the new addition with the two Tomball schools, Tomball Memorial, Tomball Original. That is going to be intriguing because these districts kind of mirror each other in kind of the way they do things and how they do it. And this goes back years and years before you and I were even in this part of Texas,
right.
Of the rivalries that have gone on. And I'm pretty sure you've had a couple of people whisper up to you. You say, well, at this point, it always have been go beat Brenham. So right. Now the pendulum will swing a little bit towards take care of them jokers down in Tomball. Have you got any of that yet?
Haven't. I'm kind of secluded out here, and I go into the office and get my work done, and I come back out here. But I know a little bit about Tomball. I started my coaching career at Klein Oak High School back in 1982, which that was when Tomball was out in the middle of nowhere, and so was Klein Oak High School. But I know a little bit about them. We've got a coach on our staff, Gary Van Zandt, that was a member of the Tomball staff, and we played Tomball Memorial this last year. And when we were still kind of trying to find ourselves, I think, as a football team, I'd like to have played them later in the year. I'll go ahead and add that. But we're going to show up on Friday nights and play, and that's that's the beautiful thing about even whatever the UIL does is it kind of gives everybody a fresh start and a fresh look at life, and we've got a new district, and we'll play them.
But yes, sir. Now, Coach, you finished strong in your football season. You made the playoffs. Wasn't the result that you were looking for, but you got to start somewhere. What have you taken from this season that you're implementing in your off-season work and drills with the guys?
Well, the key for us is, the teams that we lost to were bigger and stronger than us. There's nothing we can do about height and weight and other than try to make us a little bit bigger and stronger. And that's the key is we were out muscled in the games that we lost. You look at those last two, Magnolia West and Elgin. We were physically manhandled, and mostly that was because we had basically 4 or 5 seniors that contributed for us, and they hadn't been through a whole lot of off seasons, from what I understand, before I got here. So the key is with this group that's going to be seniors next year. This will be their last go around. They've been we got here when they were freshmen, and they're gonna be bigger and stronger, and that's the key. You win games at the high school level with seniors, And we're going to have a good group of seniors this year, not only football-wise, but character-wise. And I think that's really what I'm about the proudest of, is just the quality of young men that we're going to put out there on the field. But, that's the key, is just another year older and bigger, stronger, and faster. And let's see what happens.
Well, speaking of character, Chris Wilkerson signed with Stephen F. Austin. I had the opportunity of speaking with him, and I said, what have you learned from being under Coach Wright? Because he was in that transitional coming from the old regime to the new. And he said two things, Coach. He says, never give up and study your opponent. When you see a young man like that who has embraced your ideal of how things should be done, and not only has he adjusted to it, but he's succeeded in it, and he's going on, which I believe is going to be the first of many, because a lot of kids have to realize it matters not how talented you are. There's a thing called integrity that coaches look for. There's things called character that coaches look for. How is it that and this is what you do. This is, you want to win championships, you want to win games, but when you win it in life, when you know that you've made an impact on a young man like that, how does that help you out?
It makes you feel good. It makes you feel good about what you do, and the key with Chris is he just needed a nudge, in that direction, because he was a good young man before this staff ever showed up here. But the key is in life, if you're prepared and you fight till the very end, you're going to be successful. That's life. Like I said, that's not just football, and hopefully he'll carry that on. I know he'll carry it on into what he does up there at Stephen F. Austin and his studies there, and what he does to support his family. If you're prepared every day, you go to work and you fight hard until you can't fight anymore, you're going to be successful.
All right, this is Mike Prince with the Sports Report. I have the athletic director and head football coach, Coach Brad Wright of the Waller Bulldogs. Now, Coach, I know you've heard this saying, in high school, there are three key components that make up the face of the district. That's the superintendent, that's the high school principal, and the head coach / athletic director. You have injected Brad Wright's philosophy into this athletic department. You make the playoffs for the first time in 3 to 4 years. Basketball is having one of its better seasons that has had in the last 4 to 5 years. Soccer has been a steady main pace. Baseball is improving. And I know, and I've gotten to know you pretty well, you don't want to take any credit for that, but credit has to start somewhere, because people replicate their leadership. How do you assess the growth since you've been in that chair?
Well, how I assess it is by when I walk through the campus over there, the main hall, I see kids that are a lot more respectful than they were when I first got here. I see young men that are trying to take care of business better than they were than when I first got here. And to me, I'm 54 years old, and we do what we do to win games, but where I am in life, it's a lot more important that these young men learn what Chris mentioned to you. You be prepared and fight till you can't fight anymore. And if you'll do those things, you'll be successful. And football's the same way. That's what I see. I feel better about. I go in our off-season program now, and I'm proud. The fighting with them is over with. Trying to turn the direction is over with. They're policing themselves. They understand what it takes to be successful, and that's where we are now. Is we've got a bunch of young men that understand that there are expectations, and when you hold each other accountable to those expectations, you got a lot better chance of being successful.
Now, you just mentioned your age, Coach, and I told you I wasn't that far. You're over there. Now, when you get to that, I don't even want to call it the twilight, because that sounds kind of gruesome when you say the twilight. But when you get to your true manhood stage in life, certain things don't even matter anymore. What used to really matter, I find myself, I'm fussing at my son all the time. So that's you guys' problem. You rather have the glitz and the glamour instead of the nuts and the bolts. And just, making sure that you're fundamentally sound, because the moves come after you've already been prepared. You don't practice the move first when you don't have any fundamental soundness to yourself. And I see that as a challenge when you're dealing with some of the younger minds. I call it that ESPN generation. Everybody want to be on the highlight reel, and they'd rather work on what they're strong at than what they're weak at to make them a more complete ball player. And as you say, the guys now are policing themselves. At what point did you see it starting to come together and gel together?
You know what? This group of young men that we have that are about to be seniors, they're currently juniors. They bought into it pretty quick. You know, the young men that are like Chris Wilkerson, they buy into it pretty quick. You know, it's one of those where when I guess last year's graduation, and we basically have a void with our senior class this year. There's not very many of them participate in football, and we could see that the strength of the character of that next group coming in, you know, that are this year's juniors, and you could see that they were buying into it, you know, and I think that was probably the first glimpse of we knew that, you know, if we could just keep this thing going in this direction, we got a chance to be successful on the field, and they took it with them, and you know, we had some growing pains early in the season just because we were still young. You know, those guys are juniors, and the way they grow from between their junior year and their senior year, for those of us that have been in athletics, you know, it's crazy, and you know, that's what we're in now. We're in that time period, but and next when they show up here this August, you know, we're going to have a senior football team and a chance to be successful because they know what it takes.
Now, speaking of this August, with the new alignment and everything, you have your projected schedule, not dates or anything lined up. Would you care to share that with the listeners, what's projected for you?
Non-district wise, you know, the district games are set. I mean, we're not exactly sure that we've decided that this is the order that we're going to play, because I can't go in. I'm not going to go into it because it'd be boring, and it was just kind of an organizational meeting, and we weren't real sure about. But basically, what we're going to start off with is a scrimmage with El Campo, and we're going to scrimmage them here, and then our first game tentatively is set for here versus Houston Waltrip. Our second game is also supposed to be here tentatively versus Lamar Consolidated from Rosenberg down there. And then our third game will be down in Baytown, and we're going to play Baytown Lee. Then the fourth week will be open. Basically, you're looking at Spring Woods, Magnolia, Tomball Memorial, Tomball High School as our first four district games, and we'll finish up with Mag West, Brenham, and Stratford. That's tentatively our schedule at this point.
And tentatively, the Open Mic Broadcast Network will be there for every broadcast to make it happen. Coach, I want to thank you for taking time out, not only to speak with me, but to speak with our listeners. And I don't know if you know this or not, Coach, but we've grown beyond Waller County. We have over 150,000 listeners that pick up this program, and if you had told me that that's what the goal was going to be, I'd have just laughed at you. But when you work within yourself, you don't worry about what the next person is doing, who knows where you end up. Yeah. Is there anything you would like to share before we end this segment out, Coach?
Not really, other than the fact that, you know, it's one of those deals where it'll be football season before you know it. That's the crazy part. You know, we're sitting here and it's February and we're thinking we got a lot of time. Next thing you know, it's here, and I guess we'll be covering football before you know it.
Yes, sir. Well, as a matter of fact, to let you laugh a little bit, they asked me, they said, Mike, are you going to MC the football frenzy? I said, yes, I will. So it's already in the making and the plan. Well, Coach, rolling. Thanks a lot. This is Mike Prince with the Sports Report at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. We are proud to be the official voice of Waller County Athletics, serving the Waller Bulldogs, the Hempstead Bobcats, the Royal Falcons, and, of course, the Prairie View A&M University Panthers. God bless. We'll see you on the other side.
And there you have it. Coach Brad Wright, athletic director and head football coach for the Waller Bulldogs. As you heard, the schedule will be there to give you all the coverage of the Waller Bulldogs right here on the Open Mic Broadcast Network. We want to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. You're listening to the Sports Report on Friday, February the 7th, 2014.
Welcome. For English, press 1. To learn more about your phone services, press 1. With its current features, your phone can silence verbal abuse, prevent scarring, end humiliation.
A phone can stop abuse. Kids Help Phone. Please give. For more information, visit kidshelpphone.ca.
Provide hope, build confidence, promote emotional healing.
All righty then, that is going to wrap up this Friday edition of the Sports Report. I want to remind you that we are proud to be the official voice of Waller County Athletics, serving the Waller Bulldogs, the Hempstead Bobcats, the Royal Falcons, and the Prairie View A&M University Panthers. Be sure to come out on Saturday and support the Prairie View A&M University Panthers as they will be hosting the Texas Southern Tigers. And got a little news flash for you, but I won't release that till tomorrow at 10 a.m. You've been listening to the Open Mic Broadcast Network. This is Mike Prince for the Sports Report, saying God bless, have a wonderful, fantastic Friday, and we'll see you on the other side. The Sports Report is a production of the Open Mic Broadcast Network located in Prairie View, Texas. Serving the community through faith and athletics, the Open Mic Broadcast Network is the official voice of Waller County Athletics.